What is up, my friends? It's Friday evening's Anfield Agenda news roundup, and the good news, your weekend has now officially started. The Reds are in action tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and I will be live from 6:45 with the watch along. Until then, we're going to take you through some words from Arne Slot's press conference. We're going to be congratulating Federico Chiesa, telling you which club Antoine Semenyo grew up supporting, and I'm going to start off with a little bit about Newcastle fans getting upset about something that Arne Slot had to say. As always, though, your feedback is very welcome. Do let me know in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoy the video, and I hope to see you back here tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. Right, let's get stuck into it, because I want to start off with what I think was a bit of a throwaway comment from Arne Slot around Alexander Isak and his move from Newcastle to Liverpool. So speaking, he said something along the lines of, when you move from Newcastle to a bigger club like Liverpool, ... And Newcastle fans have been losing their minds about it. Craig Houlden, speaking to Eddie Howe ahead of Newcastle's game, speaking in the press conference, asked him about what Arne Slot had to say. And to be fair to Eddie Howe, he didn't really bite on it. But let me clear this up just in case there is any misunderstandings. Newcastle are absolutely a smaller club than Liverpool. I don't understand how this is a debate or a problem. Now, you might feel that Arne was a tad disrespectful in saying it, but, that's open to interpretation. But again, they are a smaller club, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn to say that. Newcastle are building something good. We've said this all the way through. They have a good coach, some good players. But, just look at the history of the two clubs. It is very, very clear, whichever way you want to dress it up, worldwide fans, success, it doesn't matter. Liverpool are a bigger club than Newcastle. Liverpool compete season in, season out for top trophies. I don't understand why Newcastle fans are still so upset. Look, I know they're still upset with losing Isak to Liverpool and the way that happened. Fair enough. But is there anything you're not going to moan about? Is there anything that isn't Liverpool's fault? I don't get what people are upset about here from a Newcastle perspective. Absolutely a bigger club, and you got top money for Isak. So try focus on what's going on at your own club, because you seem to be obsessed with Liverpool, between Newcastle supporters and also between, our friend there who had a great summer from a journalistic perspective, Mr. Luke Edwards. All seem to be obsessed with Liverpool. Let it go. Just let it go. Anyway, we'll move on to Arne Slot and some of his words in the press conference. Speaking about Mohamed Salah and Salah's form, this is what Arne had to say. It's so difficult for me to say this. I could come up with a few reasons why Mo isn't playing as well as he should do. But the reason, I think, in general, is football players miss chances, and Mo is a human being as well. We're not used to missing chances, let alone a few in a row, but these things can happen. What could have to do with it? I have no clue if it does, but I come up with, if it's easier to finish a chance if you're 3-1 up than if you're 1-0 down. But maybe that's completely not true for him. The main thing is Mo has always scored goals for our club, and the last thing I worry about is Mo starting to score goals again, because that is what he's done his whole life, and that is what we expect him to do in the upcoming weeks and months. And I agree with the manager. Look, there's no denying that Mo isn't in a good place at the minute, form-wise, but like I've tried to say multiple times, I have no inclination to write Mo off. I just think this is a tricky period for him, and he probably doesn't deserve to be starting games week in, week out at the minute. But I fully expect him to get there. I fully expect him to still end this season with a very respectable amount of goals and assists. But for now, I think the manager made the right call, and I do think he will probably play him alongside Ekitike if we stick to that 4-4-2 system this weekend. But of course, for me, I would be honest and say I'd go with Chiesa. But again, good to see the manager speaking up, and I want to just reaffirm this. We here at Anfield Agenda are certainly not Mo out. We're certainly not thinking he's finished, but we try to address these things and be honest about the form that we're seeing, and I do believe Mo will get back to closer to what we know and love. Right. Kerkez and Arne speaking a little bit about why he's starting all Premier League games, and this is very interesting actually, because it's something that I noticed and I'm sure you guys noticed watching games, but let me read you through it. He said the reason we brought him in is that he brings a lot of energy to the game, keeps going up and down the wing, very well defending 1v1 situations against the winger. For me, he's been a bit unlucky. Cody's biggest strength is coming inside, and we've shown him sometimes playing Milos in would have been a better option. And I've spoke about this time and time again on watch-alongs. Cody does tend to drift inside, but the energy and the runs from Milos Kerkez overlapping or underlapping him are often being just ignored and wasted. So I'm glad that Arne is pointing this out to Gakpo, because no doubt he's in good form at the minute, 3 goals in 3 games. But that is one thing I think he could add to his game, is to keep an eye out for that overlapping run from Kerkez, because it just gives us a different angle of attack. On Curtis Jones, this is what the gaffer had to say. I'm not surprised he touched the ball so often as we put him a bit lower against a team with a low block. He loves the words low block, doesn't he? That didn't press the ball. Kerkez, his playing time has gone up since I've been here. There's a reason for that. I like how he has progressed. With him, as every player, he is in competition with 5 or 6 other good midfielders. And again, I'm being honest, I'm having Curtis Jones straight into that starting 11 for the weekend. I think him and Dominic Szoboszlai look very well balanced together. And I'm so happy that Curtis is saying, play through me, give me the ball, I'll make it happen. Because he does constantly look forward and look to progress our attacks. On Florian Wirtz, this is what the gaffer had to say. I find it a bit funny. His second assist, we call that assist, and the 1-1 goal involvement against United is a one for him, which is more difficult to do than the 5-1. His general game was something and the Liverpool fans liked. You're right, Arner. We very much did. He was very good. We've seen more of that already, but if you lose a game, the focus is on the negative things. When you win a game 5-1 with 2 set pieces, people talk about your good attacks from open play. We generated the same amount versus United, but the difference was we didn't concede from a set piece and scored from 2. And those 2 set-piece goals were definitely very welcome, and it's always good to see your centre-backs popping up with a few as well, especially when they are so dominant as Konate and Virgil are in the air. Speaking about injuries, this is what the gaffer had to say. Jeremy is not in a good place. He's definitely not going to play tomorrow or next week. Hamstring injury is going to take a while. Alex is not too bad. Question mark for the weekend, and let's see where he is. That's the same to be said about Ryan Gravenberch. He didn't travel with us yesterday. We were in today as well. Alisson's not on the squad. That's also going to take a little bit longer. So I'm expecting Gravenberch not to start this game and Isak not to start this game, just as a precautionary measure. But I talked about some good news at the start of the stream for Federico Chiesa, and amazingly and deservedly, he has been awarded the Standard Chartered Player of the Month for September. So congratulations, Fede, and hopefully Arna, well, pays attention here. We can all see how much Liverpool fans idolise and admire Federico Chiesa. We want him to get more opportunities and minutes, and that was reflected in him getting Standard Chartered Player of the Month. So congratulations, Fede. Now, the final thing I have for you guys before I let you go today is just a bit of a confirmation. It doesn't really mean anything, but we do now know for certain that Antoine Semenyo grew up as an Arsenal fan. Now, to be fair, somebody did mention this to me on the stream the other day, but it came up from the Mail Sport today, so it doesn't really mean anything. You know, players have come to Liverpool, have supported other clubs and vice versa. But if Liverpool do move for Antoine Semenyo, it does look to be a significant fee. Manchester United are another team that are interested in him, but there is a growing sense of chatter that maybe Liverpool will make a move in the January window to try to sign Antoine Semenyo, and the talk is about £75 million. So for me, look, I'm happy if we bring in another attacker. I think we need a centre-back first and foremost. We talked about Camavinga as well. I'm wondering, is there a world down the line perhaps where Camavinga comes to Liverpool with McAllister going the other way? Again, not saying I'm wishing McAllister out, but if you look at the way we're playing now, if we have one defensive midfielder in there and we play with one more beside them in this 4-4-2 system, that could have limited availability for midfield starts. So let's wait and see how it all pans out. Does Arna stick with the 4-4-2? Well, we asked you guys, and we asked you on socials, well, 2 things. 1, should Mohamed Salah start the next game? And 91% of people said no. We also asked you guys, should Arna stick with the system that we played against Frankfurt? And of course, an overwhelming amount, I think about 89%, said yes. That being said, you and I don't make the decisions, so let's see what the gaffer comes up with. Tomorrow, we will be here, like I've said, for the late night agenda. Or no, excuse me, not for the late night agenda. That'll be tonight. Tomorrow, we'll be here for the watch along. We're recording another episode of the Anfield Agenda podcast today. Myself, Chris and Connor. That'll be out tonight at 10:45 after the stream. But if I don't see you tonight, have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see you tomorrow. And as always, thank you for your continued support. Much love. Bye-bye.